Alright, here we are again for our second reviewing my misplays as we go along. Again, the Combo Elves opponent we had just played just moments beforehand and managed to steal both games somehow, some way. Um, our opponent had mulliganed to 0 in game 2, so I guess this is kind of the rematch, and believe me, I'm not thrilled about it. While not amazing, this hand is a lot better than the one before it. The ability to play turn 1 Thoughtseize, or Inquisition in this case, and knowing that his deck is Combo Elves, that he is going to have a ton of things under 3, helps. Our biggest issue here is that we don't really have any other way. We're hoping to go discard, dude, Liliana, and by that point we could be dead. So here we go. Symbiote is again the most threatening creature here. The Nettle Sentinel, not as threatening as long as he doesn't get away to tap it to abuse its mana, or to abuse it for mana. The Archdruid right now, he can't play until he plays the Ranger, which if he leads with Ranger, he can't play Visionary, or he can't play Nettle Sentinel fast enough. If he leads with Visionary, or he goes Visionary, he can't play the Ranger unless he does it on the first turn. So we're hoping at this point. His hand is very good as opposed to ours, which is very mediocre. Our best draw would have probably been a Mox Diamond just to edict off his first turn play and then start forcing him to discard. But we can't do any of this if he has this symbiote because it starts producing extra draws per turn. If he gets to the turn 3 and he drops the Archdruid and it goes active, we're so far behind we can't do a thing. We have to hope that he doesn't draw a mana producer, because if he does, if he draws a Fyndhorn Elf or a Llanowar Elf, or even a Nettle Sentinel, or a not Nettle Sentinel, wow, or even a Birchlore Ranger, or any other Heritage Druid, we're we're out. We have nothing else to do but sit there and watch him kill us. Of course, our opponent did draw the mana producing elf, maybe a turn late, possibly in the first turn. Which turn doesn't matter for this one. Immediately put it to 3, gave our opponent a outlet, so to say. It allowed our opponent to play the Quirion Ranger, and will allow our opponent to kind of will allow our opponent to basically take over and win this game right here. Uh, there's nothing else that we can really do about it. We don't have a way to kill off that Heritage Druid, and if we did, our mana's tapped. The only thing that would be available at that point would be Gutshot, or, which would also be too late, we would have had to do it in response to Quirion Dryad, or Slaughter Pact, which we would lose the game during upkeep. This is the part where we concede, by the way. Our options here are to play Diamond, pitching one of our 2 lands, drop Liliana, play the other land, and watch him swing at us even though he sacrifices something. If he was to sacrifice something at this point, my guess would probably be Birchlore Ranger. He already produces 3 mana off of Heritage Druid. The other option there would be Quirion Ranger or Heritage Druid. There's too much value off of even just drawing a Wirewood Symbiote for him to sacrifice the Visionary. He's not going to sacrifice the Archdruid. He might even sacrifice the Nettle Sentinel, but the chances of him drawing a green spell to untap it, ridiculously high. So we'd be looking at making him sacrifice one thing, blocking 1 to 2 depending on which land we pitched, and if we fetched the Arbor. We'll say that we block 3 things, or that we stop 3 of these. And we'll say that the Arbor would jump in front of the Nettle Sentinel. He holds back the Archdruid, sacrifices one of the other ones, so we still get hit for 4. Liliana dies. Both of our creatures die. We have 3 lands. He has 1, 2, 3, 4 elves in play. One of them being the Lord. So at that point, we take 4, go to 12. Then whatever we draw, at best kills one thing. And then we take 8. The only thing, let's see, if we drew the Batterskull, or if we drew the Stoneforge Mystic, we take 8, then we put the Batterskull into play, and we take 4, it swings back. That's our only out at this point, which it's not worth revealing to him. Hopefully, well, our opponent recognizes, so it would have been a good possibility to give it a shot, but it wouldn't have been worth it. Uh, there is a point where you have to just consider, hey, maybe I should just move on to the next one. And at this point, that being our only out, mind you, that's also not including him drawing anything. That last card in hand, it better be a land. The next cards on top had better be lands and not something relevant, because the instant it's something relevant, we're out. So, yeah, it's that probability was not worth it. Better to take the time for possibly the next two games, which hopefully don't take forever, but there's no way of telling for sure.